Cool. I wasted a whole bit of me cracking open a can and saying, "Oh, it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Why I can't crack a beer, so I cracked open a water, whatever." So, a little bit of an elephant in the room. I'm starting a new job this week. Now, I'm not going to specify where, but it is in the culinary world. Now, for those of you who do know, I started the show because I wanted to go into sports media. Also, I'm going to be keeping this episode a little bit short because I still got to work out. I got studying I got to do. Still got to shower. They're going to go see my nonno after. So, I got to keep this a little short. But, this show was started because I wanted to go into sports media. Now, I realized a little recently that maybe that's not what I want to do. I'm going to continue doing this show, but the thing is, this is a full-time job, and it's going to be a lot of hours. I'm not so sure when I'm going to have time throughout the week, basically. This is the only day other than like Saturday that I have off this week. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do Friday show, but I'll probably usually Friday show is recorded ahead of time. I'm gonna have to record 2 Friday shows this week. It is what it is, but I'd like to keep this going, just because that I'm doing this. This is most likely gonna happen. Or so, what am I saying? This job is happening. This show, I want to keep it going. So, we're here now. Let's get into this episode. We got football this week for the first time since February. I don't remember the day. So, finally, football's back. It's the first season. First week of the season. We got some good games going on. I don't really want to talk about the games. I think I'd rather just have some predictions. So, I'm going to go through some stat leaders. I don't want to go through them all because that's boring. I'm going to go through I don't want to go through all the division winners. I don't want to go through the playoff teams. I want to look at some of the interesting stuff. I want to look at some surprising teams, teams that could surprise this year, some teams that could disappoint this year. But I would really like to talk about some other things too. I hate doing predictions and stuff and blah, 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 blah. Everybody does it. But I want to discuss the season. Some players I think that are going to perform well. Some players I don't think that are going to perform well. Some players I like going into the season. Some players I hate going into the season. Tom fucking Brady is one of them. But let's discuss it. I don't really want to do the predictions. I don't want to go, oh, this team's going to go da 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 da. Whatever. It's also the first 18-week season of the year. So this is going to be an interesting one. So no more going 8-8. So the Cowboys are either going to have a winning season or are going to have a losing season. So we see what it is. I hope it's going to be a losing season because fuck the Cowboys. But I want to discuss some things. Some players I really like going into the season. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers' last season? Who knows? Because now it's looking like his relationship with Gutekunst is looking pretty good. Gut has been saying that it's gotten better, so he could be back. He can. Who knows? But we see what happens with the season. What else? I don't know. Why am I blanking? So, one thing I also want to discuss, actually, going into this season, let's give linemen some more respect, because linemen don't get the fucking respect they deserve. And this is coming from somebody who played the line in high school for 2 seasons. Big whoop. Look at what was the top 100 list this year. I don't think there was a lineman that went past 30, but I'll tell you this right now. A lot of the linemen in this league are better at their position than some of the fucking players in their positions. If you had to look at the top O linemen, let's just say Quentin Nelson, David Bakhtiari, whatever. I don't care who it is. Look at the number 1 O lineman, okay? Then look, who's the number 1, I don't know, cornerback? Jair, he's fantastic. I don't know if he would be number one. A lot of people say Jalen Ramsey. Quentin Nelson at his position is better than Jalen Ramsey at his position. It's hard to compare the two positions because they're totally different. But give the O-linemen the respect they deserve. There should be O-linemen in the top 100. I don't care if it's a stupid list. Give the linemen they deserve. The respect they deserve. I am dyslexic today. Oh my God. I hope this thing was on. What else? I want to just talk about who I think is going to be the top QB this year, or teams that I think are going to... Actually, let's go with the teams I think that are going to surprise this year. One team that I think is going to surprise this year is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and by surprise, I mean surprise at how stupid they are from the draft. They didn't draft an O-lineman in the first round. They had 2 first-round picks. They had the first overall pick and another first-round pick. They draft Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you? But they draft Travis Etienne with the second first-round pick that they have. They could have used a wide receiver. They already had a good running back, like a great running back. Travis Etienne is also out for the season. And they didn't draft an O-lineman when there was some pretty good O-linemen available. I don't know what was going through their head, why they decided not to go with any other position that they needed. But I think they're going to surprise us by how dumb they are for that type of draft. Another team I think is going to surprise, actually surprise, is the the LA Chargers. I think they're going to surprise us. I think they're going to make the wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division. It could be a good run at the division, but I think the division is still Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Chiefs. But I think they're going to get that first wild card spot. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch this year. I'm going to be watching them a lot this year because I miss Corey Linsley already. I love the jerseys too. Like, I saw the jersey in real life, like the Herbert jersey in person. And oh my God, it's so nice. It's so beautiful. I think another team that's going to surprise this year is probably going to be Seattle. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. They're not winning the division. I think DK might have a down year this year. Out of everybody in the league, I think it's going to be DK with the down year. They just don't have that. And it's not even going to be because of DK. I think that the Seattle Seahawks just don't have have a good enough O-line. I just don't see Seattle being as good as they were last year. They just aren't as strong. It's gonna take Russell Wilson an MVP type season for them to win that division. And I mean MVP type season by like better than Rodgers last year. I don't think that Seattle is going to miss the playoffs, but I also don't think that they're going to be division winners. They're not going to have home field advantage. It's going to come down to the chart. Oh my God. It's going to come down to the 49ers and the Rams. I think it might be the 49ers that could take that division, barring they have a healthy team. If they have Nick Bosa healthy, if they have their O-line healthy, it's ifs and buts. And if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, the Packers wouldn't have lost to the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. But I think if San Francisco stays healthy, I think they have a better team. Not a better QB, but a better team than LA, especially defense-wise. That defense can lead them back to a 13-4 season, or lead them to a 13-4 season. It also depends on QB play. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be the Jimmy Garoppolo that we saw a few years ago when he first played, or when he first arrived in San Francisco and actually took them to the NFC Championship game, won the NFC Championship for them? Or is he going to be injured? He's going to be like a turnover machine. Are they going to have to look to Trey Lance to throw the ball a bit? Who knows? But I can also see San Francisco surprising us as well by using a 2 QB system. I think that could be a fun 2 QB system. By 2 QB system, this isn't like a Drew Brees Taysom Hill type system. No. This is a QB system where like every once in a while you're gonna have to use. You can switch up the QBs, fuck up the defenses. Thing is, it could mess up your offense too because you have to have two different schemes, two different types of schemes for, two different playbooks for your players. I don't know how that can work, but I think it could work. I still think, like, if you ask me, I think the wild card spots are going to come down to San Francisco. The NFC West is going to have probably 3 out of the possible however many playoff spots. It's going to come down to San Fran number 1, LA 2, 3 is going to be Seattle. Like, it's without a doubt, it's going to be Seattle. And then Arizona, I don't know. I don't know what Arizona is going to do this year. It's going to be weird for Arizona is a weird team for me. They have a good roster ahead of them, but I don't like Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think he's that good of a coach. But they do have a good young team ahead of them. Or I wouldn't even say young. They have a good amount of veterans on them. Is Cliff Kingsbury going to have a good season this year? They missed out the playoffs last year, which they should have easily made. They missed out on it like pretty badly, if you ask me. But I think Arizona can surprise. I think they can make a wild card. But it also comes down to you got to look at the teams that they're going to be competing with. Like I said, Seattle and LA is going to be taking up those wild card spots. Maybe they could take over Seattle. I don't know. Seattle is a better team. They're better coached than Arizona. But you have to look at the other teams in the division. You have the Saints still. They don't have Drew Brees, but they still have a pretty good team on the team. They're still pretty well coached. You have to look at the Bears if they look to Justin Fields this year. They're not going to be... The Bears with Justin Fields, I don't think, is a team to mess with. You still have the NFC East, I guess you can say. I don't know. That's a weird division. I don't think any team is going to make it have more than 10 wins, if you ask me. But you look at the NFC North. Other than the NFC South and the NFC West, I think the NFC North is probably the third best, even though there's only 4 divisions. The NFC North, you're going to have to look, like I said, you have the Bears in them. If Justin Fields plays this year and if he plays well, I think the Bears can take over a wild card spot like they did last year over Arizona. And then it's going to come down to you may still have the Vikings. The Vikings have a pretty good defense and some pretty good weapons on offense. Kirk Cousins is going to have to play well. I don't really like Kirk Cousins all that much, mostly because he plays for the fucking Vikings. But if he plays well with the weapons that he has, they can take over that wild card spot just as easily. It's gonna come down to a lot. The Carolina Panthers, I think, Arizona's gonna have to watch out for Carolina. Carolina, I think, can be a good team this year. Sam Darnold, I feel like he's gonna have a breakout season this year. It's gonna be I don't want to say a career year. I think he's gonna have a good career in Carolina. So you have to look out for them. Atlanta, you don't have to look out for. Who else is in that division? Yeah, no, it's just the Bucs. The Bucs are gonna win that division, if you ask me. New Orleans, I don't know if they're if they can make that wild card spot with Jameis Winston. Who knows? He's looked pretty good ever since he's came to New Orleans. It's gonna come down to a lot for Arizona to take that third wild card spot. I think they can surprise, but I don't know. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury gets it because of how many teams there are ahead of him. But it's going to be difficult, even just to get into that playoff spot. I don't know exactly their schedule, but it's not even care about what their full schedule is. They have to play LA twice, Seattle twice, and the 49ers twice. I don't know where I'd rank them in that division. It's either going to be third or fourth, depending on how I feel about Seattle, like depending on the day on how I feel about Seattle. But Seattle has more experience. They have a head coach who's actually won the Super Bowl, knows how to win. It's going to take a lot for Arizona this year. I don't know why I'm focusing on them a lot. I think it's just because I'm focusing on that third wildcard spot. But I feel like if you ask me, the teams that I think are going to make the NFC or the NFC playoffs, the NFC North is going to come down to the Green Bay Packers. I don't want to say it too confidently, but I feel like it's going to be the Packers again this year, barring any injuries again. Who else? The NFC East. That's going to be a difficult one. I want to say that one for the end. The NFC South is going to be Tampa Bay. I feel it's going to be Tampa Bay. They kept the same team that they won the Super Bowl with last year. Their division, New Orleans didn't really get any stronger. I feel like they got a little worse at QB. But then again, Drew Brees wasn't that same QB that he was years ago. Carolina, I think, got better. They could probably overtake New Orleans, but I still think New Orleans is going to take up that second spot. So Tampa Bay is going to be taking that NFC spot, or the NFC South spot. They're going to be winning the division. The NFC West, like I said, that's going to be a little bit difficult one. It's going to come down to the 49ers and Rams. I'm taking the 49ers for that. So that's the first two. The NFC East is going to be very difficult. The Cowboys, with a healthy Dak, should win that division with that offense, because they probably have the best offense in that division, which doesn't really say a lot. But Washington is a fantastic defense that can win that division again. Maybe the Giants can win because they have a pretty good defense, a pretty good offense, but it's going to have to come down to Daniel Jones playing well, but they also need more O-line help. That's the one thing that's going to come down to as well. The Eagles stink. I don't think they're going to make any noise in that division. Who knows? Maybe they can. That division is just wonky, but of every team in that division, Philadelphia isn't winning that. I'm going to take... I really want to see Washington win that division again. I don't know why. But I think it's going to be Dallas taking that division crown. It's going to be... So the division winners in the NFC, it's going to be Green Bay, Dallas Cowboys, 49ers, and then Tampa Bay. Then, like I said, the wild card, it's going to be LA. I'm going to go Carolina. I think a healthy Carolina can get that second spot. Then the third spot's going to be Seattle. I don't know who the top teams in the division are. I'm not going to start doing stuff like that now, but whatever. The AFC, I think, is going to be a little more fun. So, in the AFC, let's go AFC North first. I'm going to go Cleveland winning that division. I think Cleveland is probably the best team in that division. Baltimore is a very close second. But I'm going to take Cleveland. I want to see Cleveland win that division so bad. I want them to be the top team in the AFC, but the AFC North would be fine for now. Then we got the AFC East. Let's go with that. I'm going to take, I feel like that's the easiest one. Buffalo's winning that division, but I think Miami can make some noise in that division, and I'll talk about them in a bit. AFC West, I think it's going to be pretty easy again just because of the team, Kansas City, but I think LA is going to give them a lot of run for their money. The AFC South, I feel like that one's going to be Tennessee, but when Carson Wentz gets back, if he's good when he gets back, Indy, I think, should win that. I feel like Indy will win that division depending on how good healthy Carson Wentz is when he gets back, and how good. Who's the starting QB right now? Is it Eason? I can't remember. It's not Ellinger. Whoever the starting QB is right now, depending on how many games it can get in without Carson Wentz, or how many wins it can get in without Carson Wentz, will also determine how they'll win that division. But I think Tennessee wins that division again this year. Jacksonville is not making any noise. Houston isn't making any noise. The only two teams that's going to be making noise in the division is Tennessee and Indy. Those are going to be the two teams. Now, when it comes down to the wild card, I have Miami taking that first spot. No, sorry. LA taking that first spot. LA is going to be getting that first wild card spot. And I think they're going to have a better record than some division winners in the conference. LA is going to be with that number one spot. Arguably should be like a division winner, but they won't be because of Kansas City. LA number one. I'm going to take Miami number two. Number three is going to be Indy. So I think that's going to be it. I feel like that's going to be a fun playoffs this year. It's going to be a fun year because there's a lot of teams that should be making the playoffs this year. Now, MVP, I'm not too sure who's going to come down to who's going to win MVP. I don't think it's going to be Rodgers again, but I think MVP is going to come down to Josh Allen, and I'm going to say it's going to come down to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Again, it could be Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. All AFC QBs, I know, but I think those are going to be the top ones. Depending on if Buffalo gets the top seed in the AFC, I think he's going to get it. Actually, I think he should get it regardless. Josh Allen is going to be my MVP candidate. I think he's going to be so much fun to watch this year. I'm going to go Josh Allen as my MVP winner. And I think runner-up is going to be Lamar Jackson, and then third Patrick Mahomes, just because I think Lamar Jackson has a lot less to work with than Patrick Mahomes. And I think Lamar Jackson is going to have a fantastic year. And then I don't really want to do, so I also want to do who I think is going to get the number one pick over the number one overall pick this year. And I think that's safe to say it's going to be Houston. Do they deserve it? No, because I don't even think they have a first round pick. Their own first round pick. I can't remember. You're going to take Houston is going to have the worst record this year. I think the best record is going to be Kansas again, but I'm actually going to go Buffalo is going to have the best record this year. Buffalo with the best record this year. I think it's going to be 14-3. 14-3 for Buffalo this year, and then I'm going to go 1-16 for Houston. It's going to be a fun year this year. But I think that's going to be it for this week. I just want to cut it short because I still got to work out. Like I said, I got to shower, got to do some studying, got to study recipes, But I think that's going to be it for this week. I will see y'all next week. You can follow me on Instagram at Bonavoda. Follow the podcast at Leading the Pack Pod. Follow me on Twitter at Bonavoda_, where I will most likely not be as active depending on if I'm watching the games or not. I will see y'all on Friday. Have a good week this week. Ci vediamo venerdì. Ciao.